This is my first session with this gelding over here. He is a 3-year-old chestnut from Twin Peaks, California. I'm hoping to use him for the competitions next year that Mustang Champions are putting on, and I'd like to show you guys a little bit of the gentling process. So today I'm just going to work on getting him to engage and be interested, reach out, touch my hand a couple times, and I'll see if I can either work on scratching him or getting the stick and string to go over his back. Sometimes I need a smaller area for that, so we'll start in the round pen and then I might move him to the 30 by 20 foot pen. So when we unloaded this guy, he was a little bit more energetic in comparison to 2 of the others. We've got 4 here right now. And he wanted to kind of run through, and when I was trying to separate him, and kind of go on top of me one of the times through the gate. Good boy. But I think that was all just having to do with the high energy that was going on, because afterwards that evening I stepped in here for a couple minutes with him and he got to be pretty engaged, and I got fairly close to him and he reached out once to sniff my hand, and this is already much better, so I'm sure he'll be willing to demonstrate some of it. But I was matching his steps a little bit. Good boy. Last night when he would walk along the fence line, if he would take a step with his right foot, I would do the same and kind of just follow and match his pattern. Anytime he would give to me like that, I would back up and kind of add some draw. I'm not going to correct him right now on which way he turns. Okay, as long as he just settles. I just want him to get relaxed with my presence at first. So right here, I'm going to match his steps. Good boy. Now when he comes towards me, each time I'm going to take smaller steps backwards. Good boy. To try to close that gap. Good. And I'm going to give a big release there because he's kept his eyes on me for a while, so I'll walk away from him. Let him get that release and go back up. Now this guy I picked out on the internet adoption back in August. Oh my gosh, I love the palomino behind him right now. He's so dorky. I picked him out, I saw a video of him moving, and I saw some photos of him, and I just really liked him. And you'll see the other one you're gonna get to see videos on. They look fairly similar, but they're very different. Good boy. Good boy. So really the first couple sessions with them, just trying to get them to engage and not be quite as worried about me being in here. Good. I'm not on as tight of a timeline with these guys. Normally I'm training for a 100 or 120 day period. I think I'm gonna have him for about a year. Good boy. So every time he gives a little, I'm gonna give back. Good. Good boy. I'll try to release, good, before he fully finishes his extension to touching me. I'll try to wait until that last moment and I'll release myself. I don't want him to sniff and then walk away. I'd rather be the one to walk. Good boy. So right there it goes to following the steps and finding where his drive line kind of is. Good boy. Good. And I don't want to be necessarily creeping around him, and I want to be kind of fluid and slow in my movements. Good boy. Good. Because if I move too fast, that'll be too much energy on him and possibly scare him, and too slow is going to make him think I'm more of a predator. Good boy. And they all kind of pick what sides they're comfortable with. Some of them are more comfortable from front on, some from the left or the right. If I have the ability to choose where I approach them at, I'm gonna pick their left side. Good, because that's the side that I'm mainly gonna be on for haltering, which will be one of the steps in the near future. In the next 5 sessions or so, I'm sure we'll be working on that. So if I can get him used to me being over here first, it'll make that process a little easier. Good boy. Good boy. Good. So my releases will get a little bit smaller. And I really like him. I like that he's staying engaged, and when I do give him a big release, most of the time he's walked forward and continued to close that gap. Good. So I'm starting to, instead of having him just sniff my hand, reach out and do small strokes on the nose. Good boy. Good, so I didn't give a full release right there because he did back off before I did after the stroke, so I'm not going to totally walk away, but I will take my arm out, kind of just like a micro release. And there are some ways to maybe round pen them and work their brains a little bit more to get that first touch or the feel of them and get them to face up or join up, but I try to go on the slower approach and matching the steps. It's just been what works better for me and keeps my horse a little bit more relaxed. There's going to be some sort of pressure, good, and stress that they have to work through no matter what you're doing, but this to me seems like lower stress than if I were pushing him and immediately making myself a bunch of energy. So in the next session, what I might do with him is I'll put him in the smaller pen and I'll work on touching him with a stick from a distance, because I can be a little bit further away than right here when I'm working on touch with him. It also is a little bit of desensitizing when I bring that stick into it. Good boy. Good. Good. So I'm not going to work on trying to approach that off side yet. I'm going to stick to the side that we have been working on. Get a few more touches in with him today, and then he'll have another session in the afternoon. And the short sessions are better for these guys, especially at the start. Just getting them to realize that they can trust and not putting a bunch of pressure on them. Good, that I'm not asking a lot out of them. Boy. So I like that he felt comfortable turning a little bit closer there and not getting energetic about the turn. Good boy. And I like that I'm able to do this matching steps exercise a little closer to him now. While I'm doing this, I have a decent amount of like energy in my feet, and I'm kind of constantly rocking to prep for the next step that he might take, so I can be on top of matching the steps with him. Good boy. Good boy. So for him, if I can get one more good reach out and touch, that'll be good, because he's starting to get a little bit bored and confused with the exercise because I stayed on it for a bit too long. So if we get one more reach out and touch, he'll be done for this session, and then we'll go into the small pen for the next one. Good boy.